Eli Katoa, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
Man, how you feeling? You're saying as soon as you get here, we were a little bit nervous, right?
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. We've got a big game coming on Friday, and I feel like this is making me more nervous than the game on Friday. So,
bro, big game this weekend. How are you feeling?
Yeah, excited. Obviously, the Sharks been playing good the last 4 or 5 games, but this is what we sort of plan to do, from pre-season and along the year, and to get it here, it's a massive effort to get it here, but we still you need to get through the Sharky boys this week.
Yeah, they're playing like really good footy. Because just for context, for those who are listening, and even for yourself, this episode will go live after the weekend. Yeah. So, bro, manifesting for you.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll see. But even how has the year been? You spent this is your 3rd season at the Storm. Yeah. Mate, how's the season been?
No, it's been good. As you mentioned there, this is my 3rd year here, enjoying every bit of it. Yeah. Get to hang out with my teammates, which I love doing that every day. But the year's been good. Sort of up and down, inconsistent at times. But hey, we're the only 4 teams left now, and to be there at the end of the year, it's it's exciting time, and I can't wait.
Bro, what do you think it is about the boys in the Storm that you guys just always have success? Because we hear, we spoke about it on Harry's podcast. We spoke it recently with on Wishy's episode as well. I'm constantly curious. I'm like, why are you guys just always in the finals? You guys are pretty naturally a successful team. What do you think it is about it? Why do you think you guys have so much success?
Yeah, I think everyone sort of talk about the culture that we have at the club. As a playing group, we're so tight, and I feel like we get along well with each other. But I feel like it all started from the top, from the big dogs. We talk about Greg Pellamy, Frank Panisi, and all the staff. They're the one that they work the hardest at the club, which not many people get to see that. But when we started at 6, we were already training at 6. They're already there in the gym. Talk about Greg. He's 65 years old, and he's the first one in the gym.
He's still got that dog in him.
He's still got that in him. And, but we sort of everyone sort of just buy into what we need as a club, and not only we want to be successful, but we want to be good human beings outside of footy as well. So,
I think that's I think that right there, that being good human beings outside of sport is just nail on the head. It's such a beautiful thing, and you can see it from the outside looking in. I remember we had Harry's birthday earlier this year. Maybe it was late last year, and just all the boys are there. Everyone was there. Even the boys that weren't drinking, whatever it was. But it was just it was such a fun vibe, and seeing just everyone come together. And some guys, for me, I knew some of the boys, didn't know some of the boys, but it was just it's kind of you guys are a little family away from your own families, right?
Yeah, it's, a lot of us, I think there's only 2 or 3 players that are not from, they are from Melbourne here, and a lot of us are coming from different countries, different states, and this is our family now. When you move into Melbourne, you don't have families, but you can count on each other to be a family, and that's what makes us so tight and connected so well with each other, because they're our family now.
And it's it must be important, especially for someone like yourself. Because to be honest, man, I'm grateful to have you on, bro. I think it's really, I'm keen to talk about your transition from Tonga to New Zealand, and then New Zealand over to Australia. But before we do, I'm keen to flesh out even your support network and who you knock around with now. Because you mentioned the boys, the boys that everyone's from different parts of Australia, different parts of the world. Who are the boys that you knock around with here, typically?
Yeah, Tui Kamakamek is the big one for me. Just because we have sort of similar background. He's from Fiji. He grew up in Fiji and moved here as a young man in coming, to fulfill his dream. And I was the same as you mentioned there. I was born in Tonga, racing there, moved to New Zealand, and now I'm here now. But in terms of who I hang out with the most, I feel like everyone in the team, as I said before, everyone's get along well, and I love everyone in my teammates, and I feel like wherever I needed to talk to someone, and I feel like I can talk to whoever I want, because we're so tight as a group. Man,
that's so cool, because you would you probably would know in teams people have their own little cliques, right? Or naturally the boys that you hang out with. Yeah. But for the Storm, I think that's what's different, is that everyone kind of gets on with everyone. I feel like you're the glue between all the parties.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was talking to Harry Grant last night on the phone, and just to catch up, but then also to chat a little bit around this podcast. I was like, man, can you sum up up the bro for me. Like, what is it like? What's he like? He's like, man, talk to him about like his like how he spends his money. He said he's got his like savings account for his house. He's spending money and then spending money for the boys because he loves shouting the boys. And I was like, really? So it's like, man, night out. He's like the best to go out with because he's just shouting everyone.
Yeah, no, it's you know, when it comes to money, I feel like, you know, as a you know, as a Tongan born, like, you know, I was, you know, obviously I grew up with, you know, seeing all the struggle, and like, you know, I grew up, dad passed away. I think we will touch on it later, but you know, when I was young, and I'm the main provider for my family, and you know, and you know, I've got some good advice from people and family, and like, you know, my parents, you know, to look after, you know, what's important first. And you know, obviously I love my teammates, like I mentioned before, but when we go out, you know, I still you know, I know when to shout the boys and when to not, and I obviously part of my money, you know, I have to, you know, from for rent and like, you know, groceries and everything. And like you mentioned, I do have my own account for like when we go out, and so I can shout the boys there.
Yeah. But it's good to have, mate, to be honest, it's great to have that like financial literacy as well, because I imagine there's probably like a lot of younger guys who have come over from, you know, different islands, different backgrounds, and they might like not be that savvy. Like, where'd you learn that from? Like, where does that come from? Because I imagine it's not just like top of head, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it was.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, you know, just me growing up, you know, seeing the struggle, as I mentioned before, and you know, my parents probably didn't, you know, I don't know, smart with their money growing up, because we had, you know, not many, you know, so much money back then, because, you know, we were struggle back then, and you know, obviously with the past of my dad didn't help at the times, and me seeing that, and you know, I wanted to grow up and, you know, not follow their footstep, and like, you know, trying to provide for them, but also, you know, knowing that I have my own future and I need to build that on, and you know, one day I'll have my own family, and hopefully, you know, my family will see what I did and sort of, you know, go like through from there. And so
is it kind of like a not a legacy piece, but is it a little bit? Is there something in that where the fact that you said you wanted to, you want your kids to say, oh, well, actually, Dad changed the scope for everything for us? Like, is there a bit of legacy in there for you?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, my dad was, you know, my dad and my parents are my hero. You know, there's a lot of things that I'm doing now. It's because of what they did for me, and you know, and also there's something they didn't do well, and that's the thing that I'm trying to be better. It will be the same with my kids one day. You know, I want them to follow, to do what I'm doing good now, and what I'm not doing well, hopefully they'll do it better than me in the future. So
what was, mate, you mentioned the struggles of growing up in Tonga and what it was like. Can you give me a bit of a layout of what it actually was like growing up there? Because to be honest, I have mates from Tonga, but I've never been there. I've never experienced it. What was your experiences growing up, and what were the key events that made you the person who you are today? Yeah,
it's, you know, it brings a lot of good memories back home. You know, I was actually, obviously I was born there until I was 17. You know, so I basically lived my whole life back in Tonga, and grew up there. I'd go to school. I'd walk to school. It takes about 2 hours to walk to school, so we didn't have a car back then. So we walked to school, and obviously go to school and come back and do the same thing, walk back. I'd get back around 4:30 or just before 5. And we'll have to do some sort of work around the house, because I wanted to go and play footy with my mates, you know. So I'll get home, don't care if I'll eat anything, but I'll just go straight to the bush and collect coconuts, come and feed the pigs, or, you know, do all the chores at home just for my mum to let me go and play, you know, play footy with
That was part of it. In order to play, you had to do the jobs.
I have to do them first. If I don't, then I won't be able to go and play with my... So those are the, you know, the good memories. So every time I go into a game these days, I always remember those memories come to me, and you know, sort of bring me back. Like, you know, if I was still back in Tonga, you know, what would I be doing? Like, you know, I'll be thinking of, I'll be feeding the pigs, you know, go fishing, do some sort of stuff that I'm going to try and provide for my family. And those are the memories that sort of, I guess, make me who I am today.
What were some other memories of you growing up with the boys? Like, was there, or even with family? Like, was there a standout couple things that made you be like, oh, actually, I really love playing rugby league, or I really love playing sport, or I want to have a bigger and brighter future for myself? Was there any experiences in there that you're like, oh, this is something that I might want to do?
I guess rugby was always the thing that I wanted to do when I grew up. I wasn't so good at school, so I was that kid that trying to play every sport so you can get away from the class.
Is that pretty standard? That's pretty standard.
That is pretty standard. I feel like I play every sport, every kind of sports when I was at school just to get away from classes. So, but I think taking it back, I think there is one memory that comes to my mind. It was around Christmas time back in March. So, because obviously I'm not from the main island, I'm from a little island called Hawaii. It's one of the little islands in Tonga. So all my siblings was, my mum told us that we can go to the main island and spend Christmas there with our uncles there. But there was a rugby tournament for I would have been like under 12 or under 13. I was still 11 at the time. And I, obviously, Christmas time is the best time, for a kid, and and all my siblings was excited. They were excited to go to the main island so they can spend Christmas away from home. And but I actually stayed back with my mum because I just wanted to play. I wanted to play in that tournament, and that's how much footy means to me, because I just wanted to play there.
Why? What was it about it? Like, why play in this tournament when you could have gone over to the main island and have Christmas over there with your uncles?
I think it's just because I love footy so much, and I just wanted to play it, and I feel like, and plus I love my mum so much. I'm a bit of a mama's boy, and there was no one to stay with her at home. She wanted to send all of us kids to go to the main island and spend Christmas there, and she'll just stay in an island. So I think that was the big part of it too. Me just wanted to play and also stay with mum.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What's your mum like?
No, she's good. She's a hero now. She's not too healthy at the moment, and I put that down to all the work that she does for us. And since my dad passed away, and she has to do a lot of things for us to provide for us kids, and she has to stay home from work and take us to school and sort of look after us. And but I love my mum. I talk to her every day. So hopefully one day I get to bring her here and actually stay with me here. So
I was going to ask that. I said, is there a scenario where she comes over and lives in Australia, and is that something that you would want to do? Yeah,
that's a big goal of me, to bring her. She's been here once. I brought her here, and that was the first time. There was a massive move for her to leave the country, leave Tonga to come and to come and visit. She was here for 3 months 2 years ago, and obviously there's a few steps that you need to go through for her to come and stay here. But that's I think everything is possible. That's hopefully one day she'll get to come and stay with me. Mate,
talk to me about your dad. What was your dad like? What are your memories of your dad?
I don't have much memory of him because I was still 10 years old when he passed. But all I can remember that he actually loves footy as well, and he was probably the one that where I got the love. The love from, and he will take us to every games. Funny enough, we talk about the memories that I have from back there. So every weekend in our little village, there was only one TV there. So every Friday and Saturday, we would go to that house and drink cover and watch all Super Rugby game there.
Gotcha.
So, and I'll be the only kid that will be right in front of the TV and just sit there. And sometimes I'll fall asleep and I'll sleep in that house and I'll go back home the next morning because there'll be 2 or 3 games in that night. So we do that every weekend, and that's my favorite part for my dad. Is just taking me to games and taking me to where all the footy trainings that I went to.
Man, I think he and your mum, I think they would be so proud of what you've not only achieved in the football world, but then also like we talked about it before, the type of person you are. I think that's really beautiful, man. If you are comfortable talking about it, what happened with your old boy?
I think I was too young to sort of understand what happened to him. But so in our island, we do have a hospital there, but it's one of those those little ones that if there's something serious happen, then they can't really do. They will send you to the main island, and it happens real quick. And he just got sick, and so he went to the hospital, and they said, "Oh, it's getting serious." They send him to the main island, and it only takes a couple hours, and he was too late to do some sort of work. But from my understanding, it was just he just got sick from a flu, and I think it was just too late for them to do anything for him.
Man, I'm really sorry. That's I couldn't imagine like losing a parent. We had a similar conversation with Connie when he lost his mum, and same thing, like big mama's boy, like loved his mum and his parents so much, and so I know that these conversations are like really hard, and I'm grateful that you're willing to have these types of conversations. How was it for you at that time? Because I imagine a lot of that responsibility might have been passed over to you and your siblings.
Yeah, that's thinking about it, it's actually kind of sad, and I still wish my dad was still alive these days, but I wouldn't change a thing. I'm a big believer of everything happens for a reason, and as he said that if my dad was still alive, I don't think I'll be here. Something might have happened, and I feel like that changes my mind and changed my life too. When he passed away, it's sort of, I took that responsibility on myself to okay. When he was still alive, he used to be a cop, and so he was the main provider for our family. He'll go to work, and like obviously I didn't really need to do much there because I was still young, and but when he passed away, I feel like that I just watching Mom struggle and taking us to school, and funny enough that because Mom was still young at that time, and I don't really share this to many people, but I did remember saying to her, and she still let me know this, and I told her, if you ever get married again, I don't want to be your son anymore.
Whoa.
Trust me and stay home, because one day I'll get to look after you.
Yeah.
That's what I say to to her, sorry.
Yeah.
And she every time she calls me, it reminds me of that, and I told her, I told you, just stay home, look after us kids, because one day I'll look after, and that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to my dad. It made me the person who I am today. Sort of work hard and watch what my moms go through, and so I wouldn't change a thing.
Mate, it's interesting the way you articulate it. Even the ability to be able to positively reframe a really hard thing that you've gone through. I'm starting to see this more, that we have like these types of conversations, and then even personally, I look at the hardest things that I've been through and other people have been through, but their ability to be able to reframe that and know that there are goods that come out of it, like no matter how gnarly it is, like like losing your dad would be so hard, but the way you're looking at it in sense of like it actually has made me the person I am today. Likewise, like with like losing friends to suicide, it's like that's the whole reason I got into mental health, and that's the whole reason this podcast started. And I think it's a really cool way that you've looked at it, because it's kind of like you could go both ways. Like you could kick stones and feel sorry for yourself and not help the family, but instead you took the ladder and stepped up. Was there a moment where you really understood, just like, okay, this is on me to step up now, like I have to do this for my family?
So my siblings, there's four of us. I'm the second youngest, and I love all of my siblings, and I sort of grew up, like I say, I'm a mama's boy because I always stay with moms at home, and I sort of look at my two older siblings, and they weren't doing quite well, and obviously they were old enough to sort of make their own decision, and like they both have their own families now, and I'm so proud, and like I love their families. But I feel like when I grew up in Ireland, when I was 15, I made the move from our island to the main island. I told Mum that just because I love footy so much, and I needed to make the move to the main island to go to one of the boarding schools there, because they have more opportunity there. If I wanted to make it to rugby, I have to make the moves, because obviously there's a lot of people coming from overseas to watch that competition in the main island, and they pick few people from there if you're good enough and offer them a scholarship and stuff like that. And and that, I feel like that's the moment that I realized it's on me, and I told my mum I had to make the move to the main island so I can hopefully get an opportunity there and come in to where I am.
So even when you were younger, you knew that rugby league was kind of like the way to get out and help your family?
Rugby union.
Union.
So we're not back. I mean, the last 4 years, rugby league is probably bigger in Tonga at the moment.
Sure.
But back then, it was all about union back then. So I thought that I was going to play union, and funny enough, it turned out that I'm a league player now. But I always knew that if I wanted to make anywhere in life, it would have to be rugby. Yeah.
What do you what before we move on, because I am keen to talk about your transition out of Tonga into New Zealand.
Yeah.
Going back to your mum and dad and losing a loved one, what advice would you give? Like if you were talking to, you know, your 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 14-year-old self, what advice would you give him? Is there anything that you'd do differently? I think I ask that because I imagine there's probably guys in similar, and girls in similar situations, and I think because you've been through it, you know all the struggles, the challenges, the heartache that you've been through. Yeah. So I'm curious. I'm like, I wonder if there is any advice that you would give to your younger self.
Yeah, I think you already touched on it before. There's two ways you look at it. When you lose loved ones, you're either going to kick stone and do nothing about it, or you go the other way and, you know, take it up on yourself and sort of move towards your goal. And, you know, if there's advice that I could give to younger people, it's, you know, if you're still young, like that, you just gotta listen to your parents. That's the first thing I'd say. Yeah. Listen to your parents, because they all want the best for you. No other people loves you more than your own parents. And obviously you trust in yourself that, you know, whatever you feel like what's gonna take you, you know, to make it to the top and wherever you want to go, you just need to focus, like, you know, to focus on that. And funny enough, on my way here, I listened. I forgot what was the podcast that I was listening to, but there was a quote there that I like. He said, "You don't need to be great to start, but you got to start to be great."
I love that, man.
You know, and like it's the way that I looked at it. You don't. With me at training, I don't need to be good at rugby league. I don't need to be good at what I do, but I need to start to be great. And I need to start training. You have to start somewhere. To be able to be great, you got to start somewhere.
Do you think people get stuck in the trap of just starting? The dream is so big. You know, playing in the NRL, playing for your country is such a big task where that fear might inhibit people to start. But what you're saying is like you've just got to start and you've got to make small efforts. Is that like what
yeah 100%. As I said, you know, you probably when you first started, you're probably not the fastest, you're not the strongest, you're not the most professional guy, you know, at what you do. But at some point you need to start, and you know, when you start, because everyone starts somewhere, and you know, you just need to start small. What you do, and you build, you know, good habits from it, and that's how you make it to the top by starting small, and you eventually come, you know, better at what you do.
What do you think separates someone from, you know, being a really great NRL player versus someone who doesn't quite make it? Like, what do you think the attributes are? Like, what do you think are the things that helped you get to where you are today? Because speaking to a lot of the boys in the lead up to the conversation, a common theme was around you probably don't understand how like professional and football smart you are, like Ellie is. Yeah. Like that was the general theme of the conversation. Yeah. And so it's like, so I think about that and I was like, well, what are the other attributes? Like obviously you are professional and obviously you are footy smart. What are the other things that you think would separate someone making it to the NRL versus not quite making it?
There's one thing that my mom said to me before I jumped on the plane to make the first move to New Zealand, and I still remember that word to this day. As he goes, "Son, wherever you go, you have to remember where you come from." And that's where I'm going with this, because I feel like if you know your why, that will not going to stop you from doing anything. Yeah. And for myself, my why is my family. My mom is a big part of it, and I feel like it's having that at the back of my mind. Going through tough training, there's no other club that doing tougher preseason than Melbourne here. Yeah. But having them at the back of your mind, that's not going to stop you from doing anything.
Wow. You know? Maybe we were talking about Mark Matthews this morning, and his episode literally just went live, and that conversation was awesome because he said a very similar thing. Yeah. Understanding your why in order to understand where you want to go. So say, wherever you want to go, whether it's the NRL, whether it's business, whether it's having a good family, like whatever your like big aspiration is, always returning back to your why, because that'll be able to get there. Yeah. Like that'll help you get there. And without that, you won't get there if you don't have that thing that's really important to you. And I love that. I love the way you articulate that. And it's like, when football's hard. You know, if you're doing it for selfish reasons, you're probably just going to give up.
Yeah.
Versus if
sure.
you're doing it for your family and your mum and everything like that, it's like, I will go to the end
Yeah,
of the world.
the
I will
world,
pass out and fully crumble before I give in.
And everyone's have different whys. You know, people play it just because they love the games. And, like, you know, obviously myself with my family and, like, people, it's for their kids. But, you know, it's having that's going to drive you to get, not only be better every day, but it's going to drive you to get to the top. And, you know, I feel like nothing's going to stop you if you have that in the back of your mind.
That's so cool, man. Do you want to have kids?
I do. Yeah. 3, 4 max.
3 or 4 max?
Yeah. I wouldn't mind if it's all boys.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
How does your partner feel about that? She's on board?
She doesn't mind it too.
She doesn't mind. Talk to the boss.
Yeah.
What kind of dad do you want to be?
I sort of had this conversation with my missus. I'll be a dad that, you know, I'm not going to be one of those guys that just because I'm a rugby league player that I want my kids to be a league player. I feel like I'll be a supportive, you know, dad, and just whatever the kids want to do, and, you know, that I'll support them for whatever pathway they want to take.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
When I was talking to Mark, he said the exact same thing. I was like, would you get your girls into surfing? He's like, selfishly, I'd love for them to surf just so we can go on surfing holidays.
Yeah.
But he's like, in terms of surfing bigger waves, which is what he was known for, he's like, whatever they want to do, whether it's skating, whether it's playing touch or netball, it's just like, as long as that they're happy, that's kind of the biggest thing, right?
Well, I'm playing rugby league now, and I go through all the contact. You know, my body's always sore every day. I don't want my kids to go through that. Maybe go play tennis or play some non-contact sports. You know?
Yeah, man, 100%. Well, even like looking back now, like I retired from the NRL like 4 years ago, and I love my time in there. It was so much fun. Like, I made some of my best mates ever. Yeah. But respectfully, I don't want to play footy anymore. I look at what you boys do, and I'm like, fuck, there's no way I've got that in me. Like. Yeah.
And trust me, you're living the life. You know, if I had the juice, I'll take it.
Mate, me and you will go surfing when you retire. We'll get a couple of big boards. We'll go surfing. Mate, take me back to when you had that competition. You told your mum, you're like, if I want to get out of here and if I want to create a life for us, I need to go to this island. Talk me through how it happened, but more so your headspace from going over to the main island. How did you get involved with New Zealand? How did you go over to get involved with the side? How did that lay out? Yeah,
so I'll take it back to my island first. When I was there, I was, lucky enough I got picked for my island to come and trial in the main island for the Tonga under 14 teams. So every year, I think that the team that they are in New Zealand now playing a couple of schools there. But every year Tonga will bring their under 14, 15 and 16 and come and play a couple of schools in Auckland, few of their first 15 there. And you're good enough and lucky enough, the school, we want you to come and like finish the school here and like play for our first 15. So I stayed there when I was 14 and 15 in my island, and I was good enough to come and like trial and make those team in the main island. I'd come to Auckland, come to New Zealand and play a school there, and no one will be interested for those 2 years. So I'd go back to my island, and so the very next day, next year when I was 16, I told my mum I had to make the move, just because there's not only I'll go and try and make the under 16 again, but there's other opportunity as well. Like people come in, watch their competition there, and so I make the move there was pretty tough because I do have family in there, but leaving your mum in the island it's pretty tough. And I went there, and it takes a couple months, and I got used to it. And that school made big part of my life, and I'm grateful for every lesson they taught me there. But 2016, I made the move there, made the Tonga under 16, and came again to Auckland, play a couple of schools there. And we would play a school called Tamaki College, East Auckland. And lucky enough, they picked me up and said to come and finish my school and play for their first 15 the next year. Cool. And that's how I got there.
Cool. How was that transition over there? Because it was boarding school, right?
It was,
How was that?
No, it was tough, not knowing anyone there, and obviously a bit of homesick at the start of when I first moved in.
Did you speak English then?
No, I didn't.
Did you have to learn English?
I did.
Whoa, man, that's gnarly. Yeah. How do you go about that? Because when I was talking to Connie, he had to do the exact same thing, and so he obviously really struggled, and there was a class that was a bit different. that was like a combination of the
Yeah.
two. How did you go navigating that?
Well, I was the first couple of months I used to just hang out with Tongans just so I can speak in Tongan to them, and it's a funny story that all my boys from school still remember. Because I couldn't speak English, and they would mock my English in there.
Yeah.
But they know if they mock me, I'll smack them at training.
Yeah.
So that's the one way of getting it back to them.
Yeah, dog.
So none of the boys really come after me and like sort of mock my English back then, because they know I'll do something to them at training.
Yeah.
You know, I'll
just hold on to it.
Hold on to it until training. But yeah, I used to just hang out with Tongans and like slowly started to sort of learn the English, and I'm still trying to learn now, but yeah, we're getting there. I'm
so curious. Because you learn English later, do you think and dream in Tongan? Like when you're talking to yourself, are you talking to yourself in Tongan, or are you talking to yourself in
Tongan? Yeah, I think someone asked me this, but yeah, I talk to myself in Tonga.
That's
even
so
when if I read a book or something, I'm reading English, but in my mind, in my head, it's yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. I don't know how it works, but I think it's just because my Tongan is better than my English, and I feel like I have a clear vision of like what I'm looking at and what what it means, what it actually means to me when I'm thinking in Tongan. Yeah.
And is there words in Tongan that aren't in English, and vice versa? There's English words that aren't, like, you couldn't even describe in Tongan. Is there a bit of back and forth there?
I think there's a couple.
Yeah.
There's a couple he comes across and I don't know if there's an English word, but that, and there's also words that you sort of, it's not the right English word for it, but it's got something to do with it. But I think there is something there.
Do you ever get in the phase where you're just mixing Tongan and English together?
All
like
the time.
Just merging the two? Yeah.
Can't you hear what I'm doing? I'm
having a podcast here, man.
I'm mixing it right now.
Our English listeners will be like, "Are we speaking half Tongan?" Man, to be honest, man, it's so impressive. Like, the fact that English is your second language, and bro, you're on here on a English speaking podcast. Like, would you ever have thought that's like would even been a thing?
No. So when I was in Tonga at school there, they do try and like tell you to try and speak English there.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, why do we need to speak English? We're in Tonga here. We have our own language here. But I wish I learned it from a young age.
Yeah.
So when I made the move, that I sort of picked up a couple of words, but I'd never imagine myself I'd be.
Well, brother, you're doing very well. Mate, tell me about boarding school to New Zealand, the Warriors. How did that come about?
So they came and watched a few of our games, and so I had the mindset of when I made the move to Auckland, to New Zealand. I had the mindset of just do whatever it takes to help my family, and obviously I had 2 years at school there, and then when that finished, I was lucky enough for the Warriors to come in, like sort of approach me and tell me that they're interested in me, and I had a couple off from rugby union as well. But like I said, I wanted something that's gonna help my family, and I think league was the right pathway to sort of a good start for my family back then, and that's how I.
Is it a hard decision? So was there a decision where you had to choose between rugby league and rugby union?
It was hard, like I mentioned. I grew up playing union. Never in my life I thought that I would ever play rugby league, just because but to be fair, I only just started watch rugby league 2019.
Really?
That was the first time.
Gotcha.
And I played my first game end of 2019 for the Warriors under 20. And I debut round 1 2020.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So you're still learning the rules?
I was still learning the rules there, yeah.
Man, was there any stories of like coaches or players being like, brother, what are you doing? You can't do that.
Yeah, I think it was, would have been our second training at the Warriors. Stephen Kearney was the coach there.
Great man.
And we're doing like tackles, drills. And someone, I think it would have been Pantia 4 that ran the ball, and I tackled him. Yeah. And I caught up and tried and rip the ball out of it. And then he goes, no, this is rugby league. You can't do that. You gotta let him get up and play, brother. It's funny, man. Man,
I remember. I think it would have been a similar time. When we were at the Titans, we were playing the Warriors in a trial, in like some sort of trial in the Sunshine Coast. It might have been around 2019, 2020. But it was funny because, Sam Lasoni, were you there?
Yeah,
when
Sam was there. Yeah.
So we were having this trial, and there's this photo of like me and my mate Nathan Peets. We both shaved our heads and we looked like Nazis, bro. It was so bad. It was so bad. But there was this photo. Me and Sam were just going at it all game, and there was this photo of like us like about to get into a brawl.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because like he came to the Titans maybe a year later, and he's like now like boys. So we got on really well.
Yeah.
So I love that piece of like you guys are like blueing on the field, but then off the field it's like it's all planned. Is there any have you had any experiences like that in grade where you like must be like bashing your heads against someone, but then off the field it's sweet?
Nah, I haven't got anything to do with it. Nah. I don't really talk rubbish shit like during the game as well. Nah, I feel like I'd like to think that I'm a fair player and just try and do my job on the field.
A lot better than me, man. Sure. Mate, tell me about the move to Storm, because as we were catching up this morning over coffee, and you obviously like you're a very loyal guy, very loyal, humble guy. I get that vibe from you. And so when you're in the side, you think that you're probably going to stay there forever. How did the move to Storm come about? What were your thoughts there?
Well, I feel like every kid will, if they have the opportunity to move to the Storm, they will take it with both hands.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was at the Warriors, and I'm so grateful for the Warriors because they're the club that picked me straight from school, and they're the start of my career, and provided for my family there. So I've got all the respect and all for the Warriors for what they did to me. But had the opportunity. Stephen Kearney was my coach at the Warriors, and he came to the Storm, made the move, and I was 3 or 4 years in with the Warriors, and then he reached out and said, we've got would have been the time Kenny Promich and Felice left, and sort of that's how it started. And they sort of just reached out, and I can't I still remember the conversation that I had with him and Greg Bellamy as well. And that's what I like about and I love about this club here, because what they said is, hey, there's opportunity here, but we can't promise you'll have it, or you have to come and work hard for it. And I looked at it that way. There's a few coaches that they sort of tell you, they promise you something. We'll promise you're going to be starting and do this and that. But when when I hear it from them, that look legit to me. You have to go there and sort of earn your spot there. And if you're good enough, then you get it.
And that's probably, and tell me if I'm wrong, but probably aligns with your values as well, because that you're going to go to the nth degree because of your values and your family. So in terms of, you have to show up and work hard. Probably that's probably what you want to hear, right?
Yeah, I do, but I also had a few crazy stories that I heard from the boys.
Like what? Like, what do you mean?
When I was at the Warriors, so obviously Blake Green was there. Blake Green was, obviously at the Storm. Yep. Aaron Penne was at the Warriors. He was at the Storm. Adam Players, all the stories about the army camp and all the training session that they do here, the wrestling session they do here. It's all crazy, and and I'm actually glad that I know this story, because I sort of came and have that thought in my mind. Oh, it's gonna be tough here, so you have to come prepared. And obviously they did not disappoint when I first got here. How
was your army camp? Your first army camp?
Yeah, I was with Wishy there, and Wishy won it that year. But it was pretty tough. It's probably, I think everyone said it, it's the toughest thing I've ever done.
What was the hardest part? Was there a moment in that camp where you're like, this is just insane? Was there one part that you were like, this is the hardest thing?
It was, and I told the boys this, and so it would have been the second night before we go and stand in our spot during the night and hallucinate for for the rest of the night.
Is that when you have to stand up and then you're keeping watch? And then if one of the army soldiers come through, then you have to tell them that tell them that they're there.
Yeah, but it wasn't that. It was the stuff that we did before that. So I think it would have been it was a massive circuit that we have to walk through. They call it silent walk. So I think we walked there for about 6 or 7 hours. You're not allowed to talk to anyone with your backpack on, and you just have to walk around there. And I was so off at it. I walked through it, and then see people went past me, and so you obviously just have to walk there for 6-7 hours.
Wow!
Until they tell you to come and we need to go take you to a spot where you're gonna stand for the rest of the night.
Man.
Yeah, there was a lot of hard stuff that we did there, but I feel like that walk is just that's just massive.
Where did your head go? What do you think about in those times?
I was like, is this right for me? I
don't know if I got this in there.
I was just thinking, oh, sorry, Mum, this might be for me.
I love you so much, but this might be it. Which is probably pretty fair. Like I think about like the fact of like just doing hard things in general, because I think constantly we put a ceiling on ourselves on what we think is what we're capable as humans.
Yeah.
Like physically, obviously, but then also in business, in sport, in life, in family, all those things. Yeah. So I think doing these hard things is actually really great because you push through something you've never done before, and then you like realize, well, shit, like I'm capable of doing way more than what I expected. It's like even going into the NRL. Like, did you ever expect that you would be, playing in a semi-final this weekend, like being one of the best players in the NRL and doing it? Like, was that ever in thought?
Not sure about one of the best players.
But the humble as well.
No, obviously I was at the Warriors there, and I never get to play finals footy there.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of just knowing the culture of the Storm and, the success that they had throughout the year here. And that was a dream of me. Like, when I moved here, I needed to work hard and hopefully get to play finals footy. And obviously, big game coming on Friday. But, it was a dream to sort of make it.
What do you think the feeling would be like if you won a grand final?
Yeah, it's obviously that's the ultimate goal for our playing group and our club, and just having the older boys that talk about those moments. We have the Cam Smith, Billy Slater came and talked to us about the feeling they have. It's they say this is one of the better feelings that they can't even put into words when they win the comp. And obviously, like I said, it's the ultimate goal, but can't look too far ahead of ourselves.
It's hard. It's interesting, man, because it's just like you've got this huge opportunity, but you still got a huge hurdle this weekend against the Sharks. So, man, I'll be watching. I'll be manifesting for you boys.
Yeah,
I'll be backing you boys.
Yeah,
man. I think that's really important, man.
Yeah. We'll be tough. But.
Yeah, we've spoken a bit about footy and life and your transition. If you weren't playing professional rugby league and you could do anything in the world, what do you think you would want to do?
Become a chef.
Yeah, dog. I like that, man.
Yeah, a few of the boys know. I'm not really sure. I wouldn't say I'm, really good at it, but I love cooking.
Yeah.
I'll take it all the way back to, I didn't touch on it before, but when my dad passed away, Mum used to wake up, would have been like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I used to wake up with her just to help out. So I used to get up and like cook barbecue and cook food and take it to the school and sell it there. That's how we make a living from back then.
Really?
Yeah. And for just watching her like doing those cooking, that's what made me fall in love with cooking.
Cool, man.
Yeah, take it all the way back there.
That's so cool. Tell me, is there any photos of you and your mum cooking?
Come on, bro. Back in
I know, but it sounds silly as soon as I said it.
We're talking about 2010 in Tonga too.
I'm sorry, bro.
We still have those pattern phones in Tonga, so we can't take photos.
As soon as I said it in my mouth, I was just like, "Turn your brain on, kids. What are you doing, bro?" But you're also studying cooking as well, right?
Yeah, I do.
That's cool, man.
So I think it's forget 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Still sort of start with those knife skills and safety around the cooking places and stuff. But yeah, that's one thing that I enjoy, and hopefully I get to do that when I finish playing.
I was gonna say, is that life after footy? Would you start like open a restaurant or something like that?
That's the goal. So hopefully. For you listening out there, that's what I want to do. So
keep an eye out. Yeah. Well, brother, I look forward to enjoying one of your meals at some stage. That'd be awesome.
Nah, we'll be good.
Well, what's your cuisine? What do you think you would go?
Not quite sure yet.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's one thing that I wanted to do this cooking course, because I want to find out what I'm really good at, and if I do continue and go with my courses, open up a restaurant one day, I want to know what is it going to be. And but I do enjoy cooking pasta, any kind of stir fry, steak, and so any of those.
That's so cool. I reckon there's people who've been in professional sport, I think they take so many like great traits out of that environment, and obviously like hardworking and dedication and all those things. Like you can apply that and apply that to that next career path that you're going to do. So that's why I think I think that's why you'll be successful in whatever you'll do in this, in like the phase when you want to retire, whenever that might be. And if you dial into like cooking and open a restaurant, like I feel like it'll just pump, man. It'll be so sick.
Hopefully, man. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Man, before we wrap things up, because I am conscious of time, what do you think is the biggest thing about your life, about your experiences that you've had, you know, growing up in Tonga or here at the Melbourne Storm? What do you think is the biggest thing that we didn't touch on today that you'd like to talk about?
I think we touch on like most things, but you know, the big things that I think I texted to you when you first reached out and wanted me to come in the podcast, and I'm not really a guy that wants to talk about my stories, but I'm all about if I could help out with anyone back, and I'm talking about, you know, not only the Tongan kids out there, but, you know, I think there's other kids there from the islands and, you know, wanted to make it, not only rugby league, but, you know, other places in life as well. And I feel like it's important for them to sort of hear my story, and, you know, most of them will be in the kind of, you know, similar situation that I, you know, came through. And from a guy that grew up in a small island, that I made it to where I am. You know, if I can do it, then I, you know, just know that he's can do it as well. And I'm always here for, you know, if he's needed any help, or I'm always here for that too.
That's really cool, man. Yeah, I remember when we chatted on the phone, and I could hear the hesitation in your voice. I was like, man, would you be keen? You're like, oh, I'm not really much on talking about myself. Yeah. But you happy you did? Yeah,
I'm happy that I did. Like I said, it's I've got like a few plans that I want to, you know, in the future, that I want to go back and sort of give back to my community and my people back home, and I'm just glad that, you know, hopefully some people will sort of not only take my advice, but, you know, listen to my story, and hopefully that will motivate them to, you know, to keep chasing their dreams.
Man, I think that's so perfect, because I think there's so many, young kids that can see themselves in you, like that you were there, like you're not. I don't want to say you're not special, but we're just people. Yeah. And the fact that everyone can do what they want and strive for their dreams, like you can actually do that. You've just got to have your purpose, you've got to have your why, and you've got to work hard, right?
Nah, everyone's like you said there, it's I'm not special, you know. I grew up, and there's a few boys that done what I'm doing now, and they're the one that I looked up to, and hopefully I clear that pathway for some other kids as well, that like I said, that if I can do it, then they can do it as well.
Well, brother, mate, thank you. Thanks so much for coming on today, bro. I think it's been such a cool conversation, and man, I'm not only pumped for this weekend, obviously, like, good luck. I think that's great, but I'm so excited to see what you do in the next couple of years with going back home, doing what you're doing in that space. I think that's going to be so special. And then also life after footy, man, because I think you're going to kill it.
No, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and hopefully you guys can understand what I've been saying the whole show.
Can we get some subtitles on there?
Yes, please. Get them up.
Thanks, bro.